Oh, sorry.
Translation: the very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Purport: there are two classes of men, namely the devotee and the demon. The Lord selected Arjuna as the recipient of this great science, owing to his being a devotee of the Lord. But for the demon, it is not possible to understand these great science. There are a number of editions of this great book of knowledge. Some of them have commentaries by the devotees, and some of them have commentaries by the demons. Commentation by the devotee is real, whereas that of demon is useless. Arjuna accepts Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and any commentary on the Gita following the footsteps of Arjuna is real devotional service to the cause of these great science. The demonic, however, do not accept Lord Krishna as he is. Instead, they concoct something about Krishna and mislead general readers from the path of Krishna's instructions. Here is a warning about such misleading paths. One should try to follow the disciplic succession from Arjuna, and thus be benefited by the great science of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay, this is another important verse here in the Bhagavad Gita. We should note the qualification of Arjuna to hear the Bhagavad Gita. Why did Krishna speak the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? Now, one may think he should be a Brahmana. Well, Arjuna is not a Brahmana. We know, of course, the Brahmanas are very dear to Lord Krishna, but there are other people also very dear to Krishna. And those are his devotees. And that is Arjuna's qualification. Arjuna is not a great scholar, and he's not a great Brahmana, but he's a very nice devotee. And he's also Krishna's friend. They were close friends. Practically, they almost grew up together. So they spent a lot of time anyway together discussing philosophy. And it was an opportunity for Lord Krishna to speak the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So Arjuna's qualification, Bhaktosi me sakacheti rahasyam he had uttamam. Bhakta, he's a Bhakta and he's also Saka. Bhaktosi me sakacheti rahasyam he had uttamam. The verses often quoted by Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna's qualification, he's a devotee, he's a Bhakta, and he is also Saka, he's Krishna's friend. Then Prabhupada makes an interesting point, which may surprise some of us. You know, some of us, we think, oh, Bhagavad Gita is all very good, but not all Bhagavad Gitas are good. Some Bhagavad Gitas are presented by people of demonic nature. They use the Bhagavad Gita to present their demoniac philosophy. So we should be careful in selecting Bhagavad Gita, what Bhagavad Gita we're going to hear, what Bhagavad Gita we want to study from, because not all Bhagavad Gitas are good and they're not all authorized. So some Bhagavad Gitas are presented by those people of the demoniac nature, asuric sampat, the demoniac mentality. So these commentaries on Bhagavad Gita by the asuras, they should be rejected. You want to hear from people who are actually devotees. So this is the point Prabhupada's making here, that we want to hear Bhagavad Gita from devotees. Not just anybody who's speaking on Bhagavad Gita. Oh, he's speaking on Bhagavad Gita. Must be good. No, we should investigate. What is his qualification? What is his authority? We should question, where is he coming from? Who was his teacher? Is he coming in parampara? Is he coming in the line of disciplic succession? We should want to know. One has to be careful. Don't just be sentimental and think, oh, it's all good. Everybody speaking Bhagavad Gita must be good. No, it's not like that. All right? Any questions?
If I have a comment, Maharaj, just myself, I had some other Bhagavad Gita in my hand and trying to read it, but I find it so confused, you know. The horses are the senses, and there is a truth behind the light. And oh my God, I was thinking, what this person is talking about, you know. Sure, I knew Bhagavad Gita of Prabhupada before, so for me it was clear. But even having the light of Prabhupada presentation of Bhagavad Gita, I couldn't understand the other one. You know, the other one was very impersonal and no real clear meaning. I mean, this is my own experience about trying to read some other Bhagavad Gita. Not satisfying at all. Completely.
Yes, I have the same experience myself. Before reading Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, I read Bhagavad Gita. I didn't understand anything. Nothing was clear.
That's just this little comment.
Guru Maharaj, there is some, I have seen Bhagavad Gita like this in India. Whatever happening is good. Whatever will happen is for the good. Don't regret for the past, like this. Is this Bhagavad Gita, Guru Maharaj?
No. I've never read that anywhere in Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna, I would like to add to that what Vaishnavi Mataji just mentioned. I have also heard this in Bangladesh many times, that this is the summarization of Gita, what Mataji just said.
Well, that means these people, they don't know Bhagavad Gita. They're presenting their version of Bhagavad Gita. They're not presenting the actual teaching of Bhagavad Gita. Whatever happens, it's good. Say it again, Vaishnavi.
Whatever is happening is for good. Whatever will happen in the future is for good. And please don't regret for the past. It's like this, Guru Maharaj. Now also it's getting circulated, this kind of Bhagavad Gita. Everybody likes this.
Yeah, they all like this nonsense. All speculation, no truth in it. We have to learn from the past. That's the point. You have to learn from the past, and we have to understand what is actually good. What is actually good? People talk about it's all for the good. Oh, it's all for the good. People are dying. People are getting drunk. People are going on drugs. It's all for the good. What nonsense. No, you have to understand that there is the philosophy for the demons and there's philosophy for the devotees. And sometimes people of the demonic nature, they will take the name of the Bhagavad Gita to present their own philosophy. So this is nowhere in the Bhagavad Gita. What is the message of Bhagavad Gita? The message of the Bhagavad Gita is that we should surrender to Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is about surrender. First of all, giving up the bodily conception of life and understanding ourselves as a soul. and then recognizing Krishna as the Supreme Soul and surrendering to him. So we should not be tricked. We shouldn't be fooled by these kind of people talking these kind of things. Just nonsense. No meaning. Their own ideas. Okay?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
One more clarification. Guru Maharaj, last week we were discussing how the disciplic succession got broken because it was misinterpreted in between.
Yes.
Sometimes,
Right.
yeah, but whether it will get misinterpreted in the disciplic succession also, Guru Maharaj, because the disciplic succession got broken because it got misinterpreted. It got misinterpreted by whom, Guru Maharaj? In the disciplic succession or by other people? I couldn't understand. Some people also ask me, what if they misinterpret in the disciplic succession? Because we can read Bhagavad Gita from the disciplic succession, and in the disciplic succession, can somebody misinterpret, Guru Maharaj? Maybe I'm pretty confused about this.
Well, disciplic succession, it's passed, it was said the knowledge was passed through the line of saintly kings, Rajarshis, right? Raja Rishis, saintly kings. But in course of time, the knowledge was lost. So the knowledge was passed to the saintly kings, and saintly kings would distribute it to the citizens, to the people in their kingdom. But in course of time, somehow, this knowledge became lost. Just like we know, why did Lord Buddha come? Lord Buddha came because of the degradation of the Brahmins. The Brahminical culture was lost. What happened to the Brahmins? There were still Brahmins, but they had become corrupted, they had become polluted, they'd become materialistic, and they were encouraging people in the killing of animals in the name of a Vedic sacrifice. And so they were Brahmanas in name only. They were not actually real Brahmanas, but they had the name of Brahmanas, and they would say they were Brahmanas by birth, but they didn't fulfill the real duties of the Brahmanas. So the Brahminical culture was lost, and as a result, Lord Buddha had to come, and he had to lead the people away from the Vedic culture, to stop following the Vedas, and instead just to follow him. And by leading them away from the Vedas, he led them away from the Brahmanas. So you were asking, the knowledge was lost. What happened to the knowledge? Yeah, it became a speculation, and they took some other principles and emphasized some lesser important principle rather than the main principle. They would give more importance, for example, to going to the heavenly planets, or to getting material opulence, sense gratification of some kind, economic development. They didn't think about real spiritual purification. They didn't think about liberation from the material nature. They were thinking more about enjoying the material nature. So these kind of things happen from time to time. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, we see sometimes in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will speak. For example, in the 2nd chapter, Krishna spoke about going to the heavenly planets. And he told Arjuna that if you fight and you're killed on the battlefield, you'll go to heaven. You will enjoy the heavenly planets. So Karmakanda is also there in the Bhagavad Gita. But it doesn't mean that Karmakanda is the actual goal. But some people may take that path of karma kanda as being more important than the path of bhakti. Some people may take the path of yoga, the Astanga yoga, or the path of karma yoga. They may take these other paths as being more important than bhakti. And they may come up with different reasons why bhakti is not possible in this age. And in this way, the knowledge is lost. And people become busy in other things. So even Vyasadeva, when he was writing all of his books, we know from the Srimad Bhagavatam that he'd written so many books, and he had encouraged the people in the path of materialistic activities for material results, for their material benefit, that they could go to heaven, they can enjoy a higher form of life. But he didn't emphasize the real purpose of getting out of the material world and developing devotion for the Supreme Lord. And that was why Srimad Bhagavatam had to be written. So the Bhagavad Gita is like the prelude to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita, conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita is that we have to surrender to Lord Krishna. I don't know how people get the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita that we should think that whatever happens is good. This is just complete nonsense. Speculation. People talk these things. Some, of course, materialistic people, they like to hear these kind of things. They don't like to hear that they're in Maya. They don't like to hear that they're doing a lot of nonsense. They don't like to hear that they have a lot of bad karma and they're going to have to suffer for it unless they do something quickly. They don't like to hear these things. They'd rather hear, oh, it's all good, it's okay, everything is fine. It's such a dream, such an illusion. So we have to understand the truth. If you want to hear the truth is here in the scriptures. The scriptures are for speaking the truth. Just like at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita in the first chapter, what was Arjuna's thinking? Was Arjuna thinking everything is fine, everything is okay? Does Krishna tell Arjuna everything is okay, everything is fine? Nowhere in Bhagavad Gita is this. Krishna is telling Arjuna, you have to do something. I don't know how people can come up with these nonsense philosophies. And they do it in the name of Bhagavad Gita. Oh, Bhagavad Gita says. Where? Show me. I'll show you where Krishna says surrender. That will come. In the 18th chapter, almost at the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Sloka number 66. Krishna will say, just surrender to me, and I will free you from all sinful reactions. So we don't hear anywhere in the Bhagavad Gita that, oh, it's okay, everything is fine. Bhagavad Gita is about action. You have to do something. Why do you have to do something? Because everything is not okay. If you go on in your old ways, not following any principles of the Shastra, then you don't have a very bright future. You're heading for trouble. Right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. So how can we know that we are getting the bona fide Bhagavad Gita? Guru Maharaj, like
Well, just like when we see our Bhagavad Gita, you can see everything is presented in a very systematic manner. First of all, the Sanskrit is there, the original text, and the word meaning. And then the meaning of each Sanskrit word is given and then is presented as a translation. And then we have the purport or the commentary on each verse. And these purports help us to understand. Now, there may not be a lot of difference in the translation. Just like some people, they may write commentary on Bhagavad Gita, and they may translate the Bhagavad Gita in a similar manner to Prabhupada's translation, because the Sanskrit, all right, you know, it can have different meanings, but they may have similar meanings to Prabhupada's meaning, but the purport will be different. So the purport is very important. That without the purport, then we do not actually understand what is Krishna's meaning to the verse. It's difficult to actually understand each and every verse. So the purport is very important for us to go into the meaning of each sloka. And you will see that other people who have their Bhagavad Gitas, they have their purports, and their purports will be full of speculation and Mayavadi philosophy, and they'll talk about merging and becoming one and the light. They won't speak about Krishna. They won't speak about they won't speak about surrender to Krishna. They'll simply speak other things. So you can see Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, it's that he's presenting not just his own, it's not just his own interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita, but he's presenting also the commentaries of other great acharyas coming in the line of disciplic succession. The knowledge is coming through the parampara. Now, if you look back just to the previous verse, we're on the third verse just now. If you look at the second verse, you can see Krishna used the parampara to pass on the knowledge. Evam parampara praptam. Right? Krishna's talking about the parampara. Krishna passed the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita through the parampara, through the disciplic succession. Krishna used the system. This is the proper method of passing on spiritual knowledge. Pass it on from one person to another. One teacher gives the knowledge to his students, and then his students will become also teachers, and they will pass the knowledge on to their students. And in this way, the knowledge is distributed. This is the system of parampara. Remember, last week we read the example. You have a fruit, it's a valuable fruit. You will pass it down the tree from branch to branch. You won't just throw the fruit. You have to handle it very carefully. So the same way, this knowledge has to be handled very carefully. You shouldn't change anything. When you change something, then the knowledge is lost. And that's what happened. And that's why Krishna had to come again. If you make a little change, then the little change goes on and becomes a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger. And in this way, the whole knowledge is lost. And Lord Krishna has to come again and reestablish and speak the Bhagavad Gita and reestablish the disciplic succession. Is it clear?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Clear now.
Guru Maharaj, just Dwarkadis here, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Just one more comment here. People also are asking the question, why the succession was broken? What was the reason? Is there no devotees coming along the way? And why Krishna has to come again, Dwapara Yuga, to preach these to Arjuna? How do we respond to these kind of questions?
Well, in the course of time, You have to expect these things. Just like when you put up a building, you can't expect the building's going to stay up forever. It's going to get old. One day you have to knock it down. You have to build again. So the same way, Krishna came, he taught the knowledge, he gave it to the people. He has to come again and teach it again. So it's quite reasonable to understand in the material world, nothing is eternal. So Krishna gave the knowledge, he gave it to Arjuna and people, but in course of time, Arjuna is not here. Other people also have come and gone, and gradually, in course of time, things change. And when things start to change, then the knowledge is not the same anymore, and therefore Krishna has to come again. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sambhavami yuge yuge. Sambhavami yuge yuge. I come in every millennium, every age. So he comes. Just like the sun rises, it's not like the sun just comes and stays in the sky one time. The sun rises and it sets. And then it rises again and then it sets. Why doesn't the sun just stay in the sky all the time? Well, we have to understand the nature of the material world. We don't like to just have sunshine all the time. We are happy when the evening comes, the sun goes down and the cool moon comes out. We enjoy the evening. And Krishna chose the evening to go and dance, Rasa Leela. So the same way, the Lord comes again and again. He comes for the purpose of giving pleasure to his devotees, and he also comes to re-establish the principles of religion if they're lost.
So this will be the continuous cycle, Guru Maharaj. It will be keep on going on like that, after Kali Yuga, when Sat Yuga comes in, it will be re-established or something like that.
Yes, when Satya, at the end of the Kali Yuga, Lord Kalki will come and we kill all the remaining demons, and then the great sages will come down from the Himalayas and they'll begin again Satya Yuga. And they'll begin the Satya Yuga. The great sages will come and have good qualities. They'll do meditation and begin Satya Yuga. So in every age, different process according to the qualities. Kali Yuga people, they cannot do meditation. We don't have the quality. So the Lord has to come and he has to teach. He will come, we have Yuga avatars, right? And Yuga avatar, he will come in the Satya Yuga and he will teach people how to meditate. He'll show them the example, how to do meditation. Just as the Lord Chaitanya came in the Kali Yuga to teach everyone how to do Sankirtan. So the Lord comes in every age to establish the Yuga Dharma. In different ages, different process. Because people have a different nature. It's not all one. That's, people are so foolish. They think, oh, it's all one, everything why he has to come again? You should only come one time. No, he has to come again and again because things change. Nothing is stable here in this material world. Everything's unstable. We don't know how long everything can go on. We think in terms of how we have the world today with the borders and the different nations. But 100 years ago or 200 years ago, it was different. And 200 years from now, it will also be different.
Right, right.
Different nations, different borders, different things. Everything changes. So the Lord has to come. Yeah?
Okay. One more thing, Guru Maharaj, what I see as I discuss with some of the people, not devotees, outsiders, there are two kind of interpretation on the Bhagavad Gita. One is on personalism, the other one is on the impersonalism. Those people, folks who are following on the impersonalism, like Mayavadi philosophy, they have a different version of this Bhagavad Gita. They don't accept Krishna as a Supreme Lord, and they try to speculate and give, they also God, anybody can God, these kind of things. So that's why there are two kind of version on this personalism, impersonalism. What is the comments on that, Guru Maharaj?
Yeah, they have no right to touch the Bhagavad Gita.
Right, right.
They're impersonalists, right? They deny Krishna's personality. So they have no right to meddle in the Bhagavad Gita. But they take the Bhagavad Gita and use it to present their own foolish philosophy.
Yeah, right.
That Krishna didn't speak Bhagavad Gita to anyone. Krishna selected Arjuna. Why? Because Arjuna was a devotee and he was Krishna's friend. He doesn't just speak it to anyone. He doesn't say, oh, it's all one, we're all the same. Oh, we're all one. No, no way. Krishna picked Arjuna to speak the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna makes a distinction. Who is the friend and who is the enemy? Who is the demon and who is the devotee? It's very clear in the Bhagavad Gita, but these people are such rascals that they take the Bhagavad Gita and they give their own nonsense interpretation. So we don't even talk to such people because they're offenders. They're great offenders. It's a great offense to do like that.
Right, right.
To deny Krishna's personality and to deny Krishna's position as the Supreme. In so many ways, so many verses here in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is establishing it, and Krishna not only says it, but he proved it by showing the universal form, revealing his divinity. He did so many wonderful things, and these people, they just, they say it's all just tales, it's stories, it's not real. There's no Krishna, and we're all one, and we're all God. Better not to hear from these people, better just stay far away. Because they're great offenders. And if you stand and listen to these kind of people, you will become offender yourself. Because they will speak all their offensive nonsense to you. Your mind will become polluted by it. And they will think, you see, we're doing a good job. We're preaching to this guy. We're bringing him around to our way. So you don't want to be hearing from these people. You don't want to be near these people. Just stay far away from them.
Yeah.
Lord Chaitanya taught us that.
Yeah,
Huh?
sometimes Guru Maharaj, when we do a preaching session, we don't know what kind of people they are, So when we are doing the preaching, this kind of response is encountered. And then we are trying all our best to prove that Krishna is a supreme, he's a person. And that's what is given his guideline in the Bhagavad Gita to follow accordingly. So what you people are telling is something uncertainty. We don't know who is a God. You don't even know what to follow, what direction to have. So this is this kind of discussion going on. But such situation continues. At what stage we can stop and then we come out, or we continue preaching to them?
They come to our preaching, they should come to here.
Okay.
They're not allowed to preach. We don't give them a free platform to come and preach their nonsense. They come to our program, they should hear. Okay, they ask a question like that, we can respond to it. And we can point out all the errors in their speaking. That Krishna doesn't say like that in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor in the future will any of us ever cease to be. So Krishna is establishing his eternality. He exists eternally as an individual. And just as we also exist eternally as individuals, as spiritual beings. They cannot understand even the first teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. They're so ignorant people. And they come and they dare to speak. They dare to open their mouth. In the Bhagavad Gita, it's very clear. Arjuna says, Param Brahma, Param Dham, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam. That you are the Supreme Brahman, you are the Supreme Abode. And then he said, not only do I accept this, but great Asita, Devala, Vyasa, Narada, they all accept that you are the Supreme. And Arjuna said, I also accept. But you people, you Mayavadi, you impersonal, you're so great. You know better than these people. Is that what they're saying? Asita, Devala, Narada, Vyas, and Arjuna, they're all wrong. Only these guys are right. That's what they're saying. We're wrong. Yeah, they can speak their nonsense, but they should not come to our place to speak it. Go and make your own program. Go outside and preach your own program. You don't need to come to our program. You already know everything. You don't want to hear us. But why are you coming here? Better you go and make your own center. Chase them out. They simply come to give trouble.
Yeah. Okay, understand, Guru Maharaj.
Gurudev, I had a question, may I?
Okay.
Gurudev, while preaching to new people, and then some of them, they say, but in your Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that 1 out of millions of people can only reach my abode. In the whole universe, maybe one such person. And now because we're introducing chanting Hare Krishna, anybody can go, anyone can purify and make it. So they're saying, but then Lord Krishna should be the one who's speaking the truth, right? Only one, but over here. So that means if they believe Lord Krishna's words, the Bhagavad Gita that is, then this shouldn't be the case. So I don't know how to explain to them, Gurudev, they're so new, they're not yet able to accept that Lord Chaitanya is Radha Krishna together. How to deal with such people, Gurudev? I don't know how to explain in any other way.
Well, you definitely don't want to be trying to speak about Lord Chaitanya being the combined form of Radha and Krishna. Definitely that's not for speaking to new people.
Okay.
You simply tell them to chant the Mahamantra and try to get some taste for the chanting of the holy name. And then we explain to them their spiritual identity, that they're not the body, that they're souls. So this is the program. First of all, teach who they are. Get them to understand their identity as a spiritual being. Get them out of the bodily condition of life. Thinking I'm the body. So chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna said, Manushan, out of thousands among men, only one is endeavoring for perfection. Yes, we're giving the chanting of Hare Krishna to everyone, but how many people are accepting? That is a different thing. We may be offering the holy name, but how many people are taking it? We don't see so many people taking up the chanting of the holy name. There are many people, many living entities, but how many of them are chanting?
Mm.
Therefore, Krishna is correct. There's no contradiction. Out of thousands among men, only one is endeavoring. And of those who are endeavoring, hardly one knows me in truth. Why? Because many others, they may be endeavoring, but they get lost on the way. They become Mayavadis, they become influenced by some other speculative philosophy, and they get diverted, they go away. So that's what happens.
Mm.
So it's rare that somebody actually comes to the goal, to actually know Krishna in full and to surrender to Krishna. So there's no contradiction. Yeah?
Oh, yes, Gurudev. All right. Gurudev, and that means also, like they're saying, they're asking, um, that's again, it's very difficult for me to answer them in a question like that. That means if they don't take to chanting Hare Krishna, then there's no meaning for them to read the Bhagavad Gita, because they will not be able to go back up to Godhead anyways. So why not enjoy life? That is how people, that is a comment that they've made. And I don't know how to answer again such a thing. And I just said, look, we're just giving you a very simple process. The Lord has presented it himself to relieve all of us. If we yet don't want to accept it, then it's really our choice, our free will. I just don't know, Gurudev, how else I should have answered.
Well, they talk about enjoying life. What is their enjoyment?
Now Corona, Guru Maharaj.
Huh?
Now Corona. Coronavirus is killing everybody.
Yeah. So where is the enjoyment?
Yeah, where is enjoyment? Every day anxiety, Guru Maharaj. Where to go, how to come, whether to stay at home or go out. Fear of going out in Malaysia because of Indians. So what kind
For
of
them,
enjoyment, I don't know.
for them, Gurudev, enjoyment is they can eat onion garlic food. They don't have to honor prasadam. They can just go outside in the restaurants and eat, and they're free to come home late in the night. They sleep till late in the morning. I mean, general tendency that people have. That is enjoyment for them.
It's a very low scale of enjoyment.
Very low scale, right?
They don't know what is actual real enjoyment.
Mm.
They have no understanding of what is real enjoyment. Just because they eat onion and garlic, they think that's enjoyment. To fill your stomach with all these very powerful, pungent foodstuff.
Tamuguna stuff.
Yeah, and have your breath always full of this smell of the onion and garlic. And they go and eat in restaurants, food cooked by people you don't know their character, you don't know their habits, you don't know if they have any level of hygiene or cleanliness. You go and eat in restaurants, you're taking great risk. This is their enjoyment. People are very foolish. Anyway.
So I should not bother answering them. Or I mean, there's no other way. I mean, this is all right. Yeah, what I told them. It's basically a simple presentation by the Lord, chant and purify. And it's really our free will if we want to accept this way. Otherwise, we are the ones ourselves closing the door. Can I just say that, Gurudev, or is that also too much?
Well, I mean, you have to know when to speak and when to keep quiet, Sometimes it's better just to leave people, they really don't want to hear. And if you instruct them, they take it, they don't like it. So sometimes it's better just to say, well, I'm happy, I'm okay. You do your thing, I'll do mine. And just leave them to it. Because
all right, Gurudev.
they don't want to hear, they don't want to take your advice. They don't want to hear from you. They're not really interested in inquiring. So just leave them to it. And Show them, I'm happy, I'm fine, I'm chanting Hare Krishna.
Mm.
You do your thing, I'll do mine.
All right, Gurudev.
Vaishnavi,
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
so what are we going to do today? Are we going to read another verse or we'll chant Hare Krishna?
Um, should we go for another verse, Guru Maharaj?
Yeah, we can do. We only did one.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Fernando Prabhu, do you want to read this verse, 4.4? Arjuna uvacha aparam bhavato janma param janma vivashtaha katam etad bija
Yam.
vihani yam svam adau proktavaniti. Translation: Arjuna said, the sun god Vivashva is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? Purport. Arjuna is an accepted devotee of the Lord. So how could he not believe Krishna's word? The fact is that Arjuna is not inquiring for himself, but for those who don't believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or for the demons who do not like the idea that Krishna should be accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For them, only Arjuna inquires on this point, as if he were himself not aware of the personality of Godhead or Krishna. As it will be evident from the 10th chapter, Arjuna knew perfectly well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of everything, and the last word in transcendence. Of course, Krishna also appeared as the son of Devaki on this earth. How Krishna remained the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, the eternal original person, is very difficult for an ordinary man to understand. Therefore, to clarify this point, Arjuna put this question before Krishna so that he himself could speak authoritatively. That Krishna is the supreme authority is accepted by the whole world, not only at present, but from time immemorial, and the demons alone reject him. Anyway, since Krishna is the authority accepted by all, Arjuna put this question before him in order that Krishna would describe himself without being depicted by the demons who always try to distort him in a way ununderstandable to the demons and their followers. It is necessary that everyone for his own interest know the signs of Krishna. Therefore, when Krishna himself speaks about himself, it's auspicious for all the world. To the demons, such explanations by Krishna himself may appear to be strange because the demons always study Krishna from their own standpoint. But those who are devotees heartily welcome the statements of Krishna when they are spoken by Krishna himself. The devotees will always worship such authoritative statements of Krishna because they are always eager to know more and more about him. The atheists who consider Krishna as an ordinary man may in this way come to know that Krishna is superhuman, that is Satchidananda Vigraha, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge, and that he is transcendental and he is above the domination of the modes of material nature and above the influence of time and space. A devotee of Krishna like Arjuna is undoubtedly above any misunderstanding of the transcendental portion of Krishna. Arjuna's putting this question before the Lord is simply an attempt by the devotee to defy the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to an ordinary human being subject to the modes of material nature. Hare Krishna.
So just as we were discussing these things for the last half hour or more, the same point Prabhupada is bringing up here in his purport, that Lord Krishna or Arjuna puts this question to Krishna. that the sun god, because Krishna had said in the very beginning of the 4th chapter, that I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god, Vivishwan. Imam Vivishvate yogam proktavam aham avyayam. Krishna was giving, in the 1st verse of the chapter, he said, I gave this knowledge to the sun god Vivishwan. And Vivishwan gave it to Manu, and Manu gave it to Ikshvaku. And in this way, the saintly kings understood it. And so Arjuna is saying, how could you give the knowledge to the sun god? And Prabhupada points out, he said, people, they don't understand Krishna's position. They think of Krishna that he's an ordinary person. Because we are ordinary people, we think Krishna is on our level. We are thinking Krishna is just like us. They think Krishna took birth and Krishna died. They don't understand Krishna's nature, that Krishna has a transcendental form. And this is why Krishna was able to give the knowledge to the sun god. So it's a very nice question. And Prabhupada, who's given quite a heavy purport about it, how so many people cannot understand Krishna's position. They're thinking Krishna's an ordinary person. Krishna's just like us. Look, he looks just like us. Oh, he's a different color, okay, but he's just like us. You know, he has a body like us, so they think his body must be material. They do not understand. Krishna has a body which is transcendental. His body is Satchit Ananda. But they cannot understand this. And they're thinking, no, it's all one, you, me, Krishna, we're all one. We're all from the light. We all become one. And it's all nice. Oh, yeah, sure. Just like people say, it's all one. If you go to heaven, you go to hell. It's all one, right? They say that people talk like this. It's so nonsense. They have a Bengali saying, right? Yatumat tatapat. That you follow the paths, all the paths go to the same thing. Just nonsense, it's bogus, it's not true. All the paths don't go to the same thing. One path goes to Los Angeles, the other path goes to Bombay. They don't all go to the same place. But people have these nonsense philosophies. Oh, it's all right. Just do what you feel, what feels good. If you're happy, that's the main thing. If you're happy eating like a pig, having the habits like a pig, it's okay. Be like, okay, next life you become a pig. That's the point. People don't understand. We're sowing the seeds of the future life. So Arjuna's question is very relevant for us. You see, people don't understand Krishna. So therefore Arjuna knew, but he's asking this question for the benefit of these other people who cannot understand Krishna. He wants them to understand Krishna's transcendental position. Oh, it's a difficult job. Preaching is a thankless job. Nobody will appreciate you. Nobody will say, oh, thank you so much. No, everybody will argue and say, no, you're wrong, you've got it all wrong, it's not like this. Listen to us, we know. Very difficult, very thankless task. Prabhupada would say, to make one devotee, we have to shed gallons of blood. Just to bring one person to Krishna consciousness. Okay? So we'll chant Hare Krishna now?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna.